Welcome everyone. Thank you for listening to this quick parent education session about the literacy group that your child is going to attend. We would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respect to the elders past, present and emerging. Today I'll be providing you with an introduction to the literacy group that your child will be attending. I'll provide you with some background about what phonological awareness and literacy is and why they're so important. I'll discuss the correlation between learning and literacy difficulties and speech and language challenges. We will discuss the evidence for this intervention and the science of reading. I'll go through what the program involves and what your job will be throughout it. And finally, we'll discuss the importance of decodable readers. Phonological awareness is awareness of the sound structures of words, for example, syllables and rhyming. Phonemic awareness is a subset of phonological awareness and refers to the awareness of individual speech sounds or phonemes. Literacy is the ability to read and write. The Australian curriculum states, literacy is fundamental to a student's ability to learn at school and to engage productively in society. There's a strong correlation between reading difficulties and other speech and language difficulties. Children with speech or language difficulties are slower to develop their phonological and phonemic awareness skills. Studies have shown that almost half of the children with pre-existing language disorders developed a reading disorder by year 2. Since emergent literacy and phonological awareness are so fundamental to learning to read and later reading to learn, research shows that a child's emergent literacy skills at just 4 years of age can be strong predictors of their later development of reading and writing. We're now going to go over what reading is, what researchers have discovered about how children learn to read, and therefore what the research indicates in terms of how we need to be teaching reading. Learning to read is essentially learning a code. The letters we use are simply symbols or written code for the speech sounds of English. Learning about the relationship between the letters in the alphabet and the speech sounds that they represent allows us to crack the code and learn to both read and spell. Synthetic phonics is a way of teaching children to read. It has been identified both here and overseas as the most successful approach to the teaching of reading and spelling. The main components of synthetic phonics include explicit instruction, which is directly teaching students the content or skills to be learned using clear and unambiguous language. It also needs to be systematic, with a carefully planned sequence for teaching that is constructed in a logical sequence from simple to complex, commencing from the point at which the students are already competent. Instruction also needs to be multisensory. With multisensory instruction, kids use more than one sense at a time. Many reading programs for struggling students use multisensory teaching methods. Multisensory instruction gives kids more than one way to make connections and learn concepts. One of the most important principles of synthetic phonics is that a child should never be asked to read something that's too difficult for them or that they don't have the skills to read. We start with small, regular words, where the letter sound relationships are the ones that the children have already been taught. Then once children can read words with a consonant-vowel-consonant structure, they can move on to reading longer words. If a child is asked to read something containing words that are too difficult for them, they start to guess at words, and we don't want this because it doesn't lead to reading. This is the simple view of reading. It's one of the most supported models of reading to date. The gist of the simple view of reading is that comprehension, or RC, is the product of decoding, D, and linguistic or language comprehension, LC. Notice the multiplication sign. If either decoding or linguistic comprehension equals 0, reading comprehension also equals 0. We need both strong decoding and linguistic comprehension for strong reading comprehension. This program involves 8 therapy sessions targeting your child's phonological awareness and literacy skills. It also involves pre- and post-testing to gauge your child's progress, And it also involves this parent education session that you're currently watching. This slide contains the schedule for the sessions. The group will run every second Friday, beginning Friday the 12th at 3:45. We'll have a break during the school holidays and recommence in week 2 of term 2. A quick note about home practice. We understand life is busy and it can be hard to fit in everything. However, it is really important, especially if you're going to make the time commitment to coming to the sessions. It is imperative that regular practice occurs at home. We will provide home practice handouts and pages and decodable readers for you to do between the sessions. Research shows that doing occasional home practice or home practice that is not structured is just as effective as doing no home practice at all. So it's really important that home practice occurs regularly and is highly structured. On decodable readers. An important part of the synthetic phonics program is the use of decodable books. These are specially constructed short texts made up of words that the children can decode and high-frequency sight words that the children have been taught simultaneously. This gives children the opportunity to practice many examples of words representing a particular phonic or spelling pattern, and so it cements their new knowledge. Decodable texts should be regarded as a short-term strategy to build the fluency required for reading for meaning, a means to an end. Children do not find them boring or meaningless. The focus is on enjoyment of skill development. Think back to what I said before about expectations and making things achievable. This plays heavily into it. A decodable reader will be introduced each week that will contain the specific letter sound knowledge that's been taught to your children. This is an opportunity to practice using this knowledge and their phonological awareness skills. Before reading the text, it's really important to select the correct decodable reader. Fortunately, we'll be doing this for you. Practice the sounds and unfamiliar words prior to reading to assist with fluency while reading the text. These are at the start of the book. Children are to blend the sounds together. For example, s, a, t makes sat in their head to encourage fluency. If they sound out the word aloud, ensure that they also say the word as a whole, as I just did. S, a, t, sat. Children can point to each word to keep track of what they're reading. Once they develop confidence, the finger pointing can be removed and children can just keep track with their eyes. Reading the sentence again ensures that comprehension hasn't been lost and gives them another opportunity to practice. If your child has some difficulty with expression or fluency with a sentence, reread this to your child and highlight this to them. Showing interest and making the story exciting will assist your child to engage. By responding to the text, you'll show engagement. See your child's engagement and if the child comprehends the text. A set of questions are listed at the start of the book, which can be asked on specific pages throughout the book or at the end. Thank you for watching this information session. We can't wait to get started.